Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Laura Papetti. We appreciate you being here. We do have an update on several fires burning around the inland Northwest today. A North Idaho fire burning in Boundary County near Naples is now 25% contained. This is called the Clover Fire. Homes on Clover Lane remain under level 3 evacuation orders after that fire sparked yesterday afternoon. So let's take a look. Here's some footage from an Idaho Department of Land's camera. Evacuations north of Alta Mill and south of Sandy Ridge Road in Naples were downgraded to level 2 get set evacuation orders. Families can return home except for the people who live on Clover Lane. Evacuations 1 mile north of Sandy Ridge Road were downgraded to level 1. Fire crews say the fire started in a logging area, and you can see from these pictures, pretty dramatic looking. It spread quickly with those high winds. The fire has burned at least 15 acres near Naples Elementary School. Northern Lights Power Company says they cut off power in that area, and that's really for firefighter safety. Fire crews closed Deep Creek Loop from Schoolhouse Road to Highland Flats in order to battle that fire. The Boundary County Fire Grounds and a Red Cross shelter in Memorial Hall are now open to both people and farm animals who need to evacuate. Boundary County Emergency Management says pets are allowed in shelters. They just have to stay in a separate building. So far, only structures like a shed and a horse barn have burned. Certainly keeping an eye on that fire. Also this one. Here's the latest evacuation map for the Western Pines fire burning in Lincoln County. All level 2 evacuations have now been downgraded to level 1. Authorities say winds are expected to pick up this afternoon, however, and that may cause the fire to spread. Meantime, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office says people need to stay out of that area so crews can work on creating a fire line. So far, this fire has burned over 5,800 acres and at this point, still 0% contained. After months of public pushback and legal battles, the Thorpe Land Exchange in Latah Valley has now been canceled. Commissioner of Public Lands Dave Upthegrove announced DNR and Blue Fern Management, that's a development company based out of Bellingham, have agreed to cancel the deal. The 200-acre property was in the final stages of approval to be developed into public spaces and housing units. However, many in Spokane wanted the land to be developed into a public park. Now the community has 2 years to propose an alternative for the space. If not, DNR will look again for its own resolution. All right, we did hear from the hiker who was mistaken for Travis Decker in the Sawtooth National Forest. He was out celebrating the 4th of July and law enforcement started searching that area. So here's what happened. Nick said he and a friend went hiking that weekend. When his friend went home, Nick decided to go a little further into the forest. That is when 2 separate people reported seeing who they thought was Travis Decker. He is the man suspected of killing his 3 young daughters in central Washington. Nick says he didn't know anything about the search until his friend said something.
Everything seemed normal until my friend that was up there with me sent me a text that said something like, "Bro, there's a manhunt. There's a killer that was in the campground with us." And he sent me a news article, and it described, and it had that photo, and it described a sighting, and this manhunt sparked off out of our campsite when we were there. Your instinct isn't to think that was me. So my first thought was, oh my God, we spent the night next to a murderer. That is frightening.
This gentleman called authorities, who called him back and asked if they could talk to him at work.
We took up the conference room and they friendly interrogated me for about half an hour. And it described me like the hair, the beard, the hat, the glasses, my earrings, tattoos, my shirt. The shorts were a different color. My shoes, the backpack, the location, the time. I was like, oh my God, they think I was that guy.
Nick says his life has been in a bit of a turmoil since then, but he thinks the other hikers did the right thing by calling when they thought they had spotted Travis Decker. Over the weekend, a man drowned in Horseshoe Lake in Pend Oreille County. A report came that a man in a small boat fell overboard. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office Marine Division responded. They did recover the body in the same area where the boater was last seen. And his name, he is 64-year-old Webster Kness, the third from Deer Park. It is 12:05 right now, and we do have a heads up for drivers in North Spokane. City construction crews are starting work on a project along Wellesley Avenue. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones has what else drivers need to know.
So right here on Wellesley, from Maple over to Division, this is going to be a chip seal project. You can already see some of the signage in place. You can see some of those cones laid out by the crews. And as for the traffic impact, temporary lane closures will be in place. So to try and minimize disruption, crews are expected to work this project in stages. According to the city, the chip seal application will cover a little over 1 mile of Wellesley Avenue. That's almost about 4.5 lane miles in total. For the pavement repairs, expect full depth pothole and pavement failure repairs. Crack sealing will be done to prevent water infiltration and further asphalt damage. Also, ADA ramps will be installed where required. So again, crews already beginning that work here. This is a project that's expected to be wrapped up roughly sometime in September. So if you use this stretch of Wellesley, just keep that in mind because you will run into some slowdowns. For now, reporting here in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Well, in perfect time for the hot weather today, the brand new Cheney Aquatic Center is opening. It has a lap pool, a lazy river, a water slide, and even more to it. It's beautiful. We talked to the project manager about how much this will add to the overall community.
You'll see that we have a climbing wall over here, and we have a zip line, and we have a mini ninja obstacle course that spans the length of the pool. We have 2 water slides that you can see behind us. We have these spray features. We're actually in the process of adding a new playground feature over there.
Lots of happy kids in Cheney. For more details like the hours and everything the new Aquatic Center will have, just head to our website. We've posted it on KREM.com. All right, we were saying how it's a perfect day to head to an aquatic center because it is warm outside and heavy winds, or fairly heavy winds, are on the way. We're going to check in with Thomas Patrick. He is standing by in the Outdoor Weather Center. Hello, my friend.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit windy, I know. I probably just needed a little windsock on my mic. So if I stand this way, I think I can shelter the microphone from the wind itself. But it's those winds that will be the priority of our forecast a bit later on today. Right now, gusting at around 20 to 25 miles per hour. But look at how hot it's gotten across the metro here. From 86 as of the noon hour right now in Spokane, 87 on the north side of town. And check it out in Coeur d'Alene, also 86 degrees as well. So plenty of heat, plenty of sunshine, another hot day today. So heat advisories do continue for one more day. Honestly, kind of surprised there's not a kiddie pool that's hanging around our outdoor weather center. But in terms of those winds, not terribly strong just yet. But they are going to continue to increase and accelerate throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening hours. So check this out. These are not just red flag warnings to highlight the heightened fire danger, but also outright wind advisories. And in the case of Okanagan County, these are high wind warnings. Looks like northern Washington is going to get some very strong winds in the early evening hours, probably right at around sunset between 8, 9, 10 p.m. That's when the winds will be at their strongest. Of course, with the heat and the dryness and the winds combined, the fire danger is at critical levels for today. So red flag warnings from 1 to 11 p.m. Thus, we have our weather impact alert day to match that as well due to the high fire danger.